best of 5. Let's kick this off. Let's see what's happening. Just before we do the intros to the players, thank you so much to Triangle Man for the 3-month resub in a row. That's 5 in total. Thank you so much, dude. And also Bam with the 2 months as well came in during that last game, which was a little bit crazy. So apologies for not getting you to any sooner. To the bottom right-hand side, our Red Terran player, we have Storm's GuMiho taking on the Blue Terran in the top left. Give it up if you're cheering on Dream. In this best of 5 series, TvT winner plays Rogue as we find out our Korean regional champion today. 2 best of 5s to go to finish off this bracket. So our order for the day, obviously, Dream versus GuMiho, winner versus Rogue. I'm just going to very quickly talk about the Twitch party we're going to do today. So in about after the 2 series, we are going to be doing a Twitch bounty today for a game called Death Garden. It's kind of like a survival hunter game. I've only tried it out for like 20 minutes, honestly, but I had a lot of fun, so I'm super excited to play it a bit more on stream. So we are going to be doing that for an hour at the end of the StarCraft matches. So it's one of those days where if you want to help support the stream, leaving the stream on when you leave is actually going to help us a bunch, because that's going to be a sponsorship that helps us, basically goes based on how many views we have. So if you leave the stream on at the end, or if you just tune in to watch, that'd be awesome, guys. That's going to be coming up again at the end of the stream today. Okay, so factory coming up on each side. A Reaper from GuMiho is going to be coming along, and we are going to be seeing that SCV taking quite a bit of damage. So SCV will go down there. Command center dropping down on the natural, and again, for TvT, we're going to be seeing 2 very different builds already. And these are the 2 styles you're expecting to see throughout pretty much this entire series. The 1 gas expansion into the 2nd gas that Dream is doing here, and the double gas opening that we see from GuMiho. So, yeah, the double gas from GuMiho typically does lead to an expansion pretty quickly, usually, because you see players pulling out of gas. The idea is you get the kind of factory up a bit faster, the starport up a bit faster. You can be a bit more aggressive. It's much safer against something like a Proxy 2 Rax Reaper. But it means that Dream, as long as he doesn't take too much damage himself, should be a couple of workers ahead. So that's definitely something that Dream can watch out for right now, as we do see those 2 Reapers heading up to the top. Going to be pressing forwards into this mineral line. So 2 Reapers together here from GuMiho will already get an SCV. Dream has to be super careful now. He does have 2 Hellions, and that will be enough. If he'd lost his Reaper, there's always a little bit of problematic times when you lose your Reaper and you don't have anything to then continue defending, but in this case, he had the 2 Hellions on the way out, and that will be good. Love this. Dream sent 1 Hellion around the bottom to chase this Reaper. Hellions are faster than Reapers, so this Reaper's going to need another ledge to be able to find a way out of this. There's a little ledge up. Is there a ledge up here he can jump up? There isn't, actually, so he's just going to try and run around. However, Hellion went around the side as well. So GuMiho actually loses both of his early Reapers, but he did, I think, just running up to this top right corner more so than looking for a ledge. It was actually more so just looking to say, okay, actually, I'm just going to pull your Hellions as far away from my base as possible. And if I pull you as far away as possible, then I'm going to be, you don't get across the map while I'm maybe still building a unit defensively or so. GuMiho has actually built a Banshee that's going straight across at the moment, so there's no real defense against that. I mean, we see the Tech Lab only just on the starport. Scans have already been used in the form of mules, so this Banshee could do some really good damage for GuMiho, who's already a couple SCVs ahead. If he kills like 5 or 6 workers here, Dream's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to immediately start with the mules. I mean, that's a great bit of damage as well. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily affect the numbers of workers, but it does affect a lot of the income that should be happening. Ooh, Dream's going to load up and go into the main base, though. GuMiho must know something's going on. He sees that happening. Banshee there to help defend. A couple of Marines, too. A few SCVs will pull in to try and minimize the damage. This Banshee is going after the Cyclone. Notice the the only real form of anti-air at the moment. Cyclone is going to pull away and get a repair. Obviously, he just knows he saw the orbitals, so he knew there was no scans. And knowing that there's no scans available, targeting that Cyclone is absolutely a decent way to play this out. Raven on the way up then from Dream, about to pop up. Going to be seeing this Banshee from GuMiho coming around the top side, and again, Banshee number 2 starting to head out into the center. Stim pack starts from GuMiho, confirming we are going to have bio from him. 2 more barracks on the way up. No 3rd CC just yet. Quite often you do in TvT have the 3 CC build coming in before you actually have the second and third barracks, but not for GuMiho. He's going to go into it in position just a few moments later. Either way, because of his worker advantage, GuMiho is getting all of that going faster than Dream is. Dream also, by the way, though, is making those Ravens, which GuMiho doesn't because he made the Banshees. GuMiho has a bit of a strong kind of straight-up push coming forwards here. Let's see what's going to happen. One tank for Dream is the only real defense I see at the moment. If those Banshees can get forward and pick off that tank, I mean, it's going to be hard because of the Cyclone. And I'm not sure if GuMiho really has any pushing potential here, especially because the Raven can obviously do some interference matrixing. Second Raven too, so you can take those Banshees offline pretty easily. We are going to see GuMiho pressing forwards anyways. Two Banshees at the front will get a Marine. There's the Cyclone, which will just lock on. The Banshees will start to pull back. Tank will siege, the idea being he wants to try and push that Cyclone away, but it wasn't in time, and the Banshees didn't quite get out of range there. At that point, GuMiho will just back away. It's not worth committing further forwards. Again, I like the idea, but obviously it didn't quite work out. We will see Dream launch a bit of a counterattack. Still has the Raven energy, so aggressively, Dream does have the possibility to get into the main base. And if you get into that main base, I first get into the main base, he's got the energy to push the natural and then push forwards towards the main, right? So if you have that Raven energy and you get towards that base, there's always possibility aggressively. Dream has to do something, though, because he's down 8 workers. His Hellion drop didn't do any damage. GuMiho has absolutely just been doing a very good job so far. Another Marine hanging out in the center. Two Vikings and Ravens sat up on the top side. Stim pack about halfway done, and upgrades continuing from GuMiho. You just gotta love GuMiho's spot. The bio upgrades are so far ahead. Love this Banshee as well. Just shows up, just gonna pick up a couple of Marines. Knows it probably wouldn't have realistically been able to kill a tank in time, but a couple of Marines, shave those off and, you know, put yourself in a, you know, take away a couple of units from your opponent. Banshee will fall, but getting some use out of it. Ekvizzle in the chat says, just joined in for the war chest. I'm new to the competitive SC2 world. Well, welcome. It's a great world. We have loads of content, loads of tournaments going on here on the channel. And there's loads of other great channels as well. There's pretty much, it's kind of crazy, but there's pretty much always competitive StarCraft to watch. It's really awesome. Very rarely is there like no tournament on, so yeah, welcome to the stream. Good to have you. Welcome aboard. 1-1 upgrades coming in from both players there, as we do see it's GuMiho who's really continuing on with the engineering base and in that lead. Armory is a little bit off time for GuMiho, maybe about 10 seconds late or so. That just means he's got about 10 seconds here where he's going to be kind of just not starting 2-2 that he should have started. But either way, he's still going to have a big upgrade lead. And again, this entire game has just been about GuMiho so far. Now, the one problem for GuMiho here is that this is Thunderbird, and Thunderbird is a very hard map to end games on in TvT because of the defensive capabilities of siege tanks. So, yeah, GuMiho has to be a little cautious about that, as we do see Marines, tanks, and Medivacs heading out over to the left-hand side. Excuse me. As the Marines and tanks will just knock down these rocks again. GuMiho, a couple of drops on the top. He's just looking for opportunities, which is absolutely the one thing you can do when you've got this advantage in TvT. But what you can't do is force the advantage, right? But opportunities definitely do arise, and this could be one of them if he drops over into the natural. The units moving their way over. The tanks are going to siege up there. Oh, they're kind of in range of other tanks, though. Does he want to commit to that? He is going to be able to get rid of this one tank on this side, unless there's a Raven interference matrix. There is. He's going to drop into the natural. Nah, this isn't working at all. GuMiho's going to lose pretty much everything. A horrific attack, and Dream's defense is good to really close the gap a little bit. Now, GuMiho will be somewhat successful on the third base. Finds 2 SCVs at depot, maybe the refinery. Problem is he can't drop in towards the main or anything because the Vikings will shut him down. Air control of Dream is really working wonders for him here, and we saw yesterday in Dream versus Bunny, Dream was really able to kind of take advantage of air control multiple times, and air control was such an interesting fight. Time and time again. You can see those Marines do indeed drop down as we have a couple Medivacs at least got out of there alive, right? Yeah, GuMiho lost a lot there and is actually floating quite a bit of money too, so needs to sharpen up on that as we see a 4th base dropping down in the forward position. Going to be seeing Medivacs, Hellions setting up. Going to be seeing another few Marines and tanks continuing to press forwards at the moment. So really looking here for GuMiho to attack on. And I mean, he's just like I say, it's about looking for opportunities, and I kind of, but for a moment, thought that GuMiho had an opportunity there. Reality was he kind of didn't, and again, that kind of cost him pretty heavily, honestly. Tanks and Marines over to the left-hand side. Looks as though we're going to have a bit of a push-up towards this ramp again. Again, you just can't push and break that ramp, though. That's the problem. And especially when Dream is the one with the air control, even harder to break that sort of position. So GuMiho's just going to take a position over here. Now, what Dream can do with the air control in terms of that Viking count being his, there's a nice little stem forward with minimal numbers of tanks sieged up. He gets a Liberator. Now, the Liberator is going to be able to be covered by the tanks so Marines can't target it down, and obviously, you know, the Viking count is in favor of Dream, so you can use this Liberator to push back the tank line of GuMiho and break out of these 3 bases. GuMiho is getting the 4th base up, which means he is, at least with the map control, taking an income advantage on the 4th base. So that's the one thing he's doing very well there, as Marines will spot this drop coming over, and while GuMiho loses those Marines, it's the information that works out very well in that scenario. Another Marine is going to be baited forwards there. Those Vikings trying to do a bit of baiting every now and then. GuMiho has another round of units over here that are setting up. He's going to commit to kill off the Liberator to protect his siege tanks. Problem there was Dream's tanks just aren't quite far enough forwards. If this Liberator siege is up here, it has to be positioned around here, which means the Marines have to be here. The tank line here hits about there. I'm using all of my mouse to point this out. So this is, yeah, with the tanks here, now you can see he covers this area. And if he covers that area, the Marines will not be able to stem forwards to hit that Liberator so easily. Planetary Fortress is obviously repairable here. GuMiho has units up on the high ground. And actually, because he never pulled those units down to the low ground, he's going to very quickly come in and deal with this drop. And with the Vikings there, of course, that's going to be a full cleanup. Really nice defense from GuMiho. Both players really just not finding anything when it comes to attacks right now. Not finding any sort of aggression at all. It's +3 weapons, +3 armor. Continues on and along. Viking production continue in his Dream. Still set up in the skies. More Vikings off GuMiho continuing forwards up to the top left. They're going to siege up, and this time you can see as the Marines stim in, it's a much worse time for them. Still trying to get that there. If the Vikings helping out too, GuMiho still doesn't really win that fight. He's now building 5 Vikings at once. He has gone up to 3 starports, which means that he is going to be able to take the air control eventually. And that's what he's kind of holding out for here at the moment, is these Marines hanging back. Dream is finally going to start making some medevacs. I mean, has a couple, has one. It's not a lot. A couple more tanks sieging up over here. A few Marines from GuMiho will be that buffer that he needs to kind of soften up the Marines initially, give the tanks a chance to fire. GuMiho is destroying the fight coming down this ramp. The biggest problem for GuMiho is he still has the units coming in from the other side to deal with here, but his tank line is deep when those units run in from the right, and Dream loses a lot trying to take this 4th base. And now actually some Vikings over here. The tanks have to unsiege because otherwise the Vikings would have landed on them and killed them. Those Vikings have to be a little bit careful though. They don't want to go too far forwards. They're going to lift back in the skies. GuMiho's in a bit of a weird split position. His reinforcements are going up the right. They could come along the left line, which... well, let's see what happens here. Marines are going to press forwards now as those tanks aren't sieged just yet. GuMiho taking advantage of the fact that Dream was just pushing forwards, and GuMiho is going to clean out for the victory. The position of GuMiho in the end was just too powerful, and Dream had to move out because if he continues to sit on jump into game number 2 here for Dream versus GuMiho, and it looks like we might have a bit of... nope, sorry, it's just because I'm a few seconds in and I'm mind gaming myself in terms of the time of the depot. This SCV was moving forwards from GuMiho on the minimap. I was like, oh my god! And I just didn't see the ramp was over here, and I thought it was already out on the map. So my bad. I thought it was a proxy. It isn't. GuMiho in the bottom right is just prioritizing blocking this Reaper jump-up path. As in the top left, Dream, our red Terran player, is going to put his depot in the regular position. Kind of weird to kind of block off here, right? Because what you do by blocking off there is there's still Reaper jump-up paths over here. It might be a little bit interesting, though, because, I mean, it's obviously a bit of a mind game in terms of the scouting. GuMiho building his barracks way back, so he's obviously just trying to deny information at the moment. Definitely a bit of an interesting way to set this up so far. Still not wearing the Summer Championship t-shirt? Yeah, that's because I keep having it in this room, and I keep forgetting that it's in this room when I get dressed for the day. You know? I know. I'm a disaster. What can I say slowly? I just need someone to keep me right. Mellow Yellow says, not sure if I'm ready to look quite that good. It's okay, you can buy it and you can work up to it, you know. You can wear it under a hoodie at first and slowly, you know, bring that zip down. Little by little, people start to realize how good you look underneath. Do you see the SCV here moving around in the main base? Orbital Command morphing in on the main. It's again GuMiho who will be playing the kind of the double gas opener, where on the other side of the map we see Dream with the command center on one gas, so Dream absolutely the defender here in the early stages. But GuMiho this time around, he is not going to expand. He's stuck these workers on the gases, and he's kept them there. He hasn't pulled out at all, and so he goes into a much faster starport than what you typically see, and especially compared to the last game. So GuMiho is really looking to be aggressive here. Building Reaper Hellion, I wonder if we see a medevac and some kind of Reaper Hellion focused attacks and real aggressive push from GuMiho to try and get some damage done. Well, my answer to that is no, because then he builds a reactor on the factory, on the barracks, and a tech lab on the factory. Moonstruck Fool, my man, coming in with the 600 bits, already gave us 200 earlier, says he can't use Match Arena right now, so have these instead. Thank you so much for the 600 bits, Moonstruck. Appreciate it as always, buddy. Command Center going to be finishing up here from Dream. And as that Command Center finishes, we are going to be seeing just morph into an orbital. Now, GuMiho just goes straight to a Raven, but you have to imagine that this is going to be like a really aggressive push, because it's going to be a very fast Raven, it's going to be a very fast Siege Tank and Marine production after. And he is now expanding, yes, but he's going to have those units so early on. There is absolutely a lot of potential for GuMiho to get across the map, push into Dream's base, and get some damage done. SCV production continues. As you do see another gas on the natural expansion as well. Raven pops out and is going to be, for a moment there, was beginning to head towards the front. He's just going to stay there. Now it's a Banshee. Now I'm absolutely convinced that GuMiho is going to try and push across the map for a kill, because the Banshee is aggressive, right? It's a damage dealer. So he's going to have one Raven, Banshee to add damage into this. Maybe he goes with a couple of tanks. Now there is going to be a Raven from Dream as well. We'll see how well you can use it when it comes to this upcoming fight. It's not a small map either, though, so it's not like this push is going to be super quick to get across, super quick to put into play. Very interesting, as we do have the starport lifting up. It's going to drop down on the reactor. The barracks moves to the tech lab. And again, just these couple of Reapers wandering back down to the bottom side of the map. Starport lifts, goes over to the reactor. Barracks to the tech lab, so Stim will start. GuMiho is literally just... He's made a Raven and a Banshee, is just keeping them on the right side. He's now reactoring Vikings. Yeah, maybe he just goes with... I don't know, though, because, I mean, Dream's kind of doing the same, just without the Banshee. Scanning the main base. Nothing revealed in terms of the units, but obviously you can kind of guess what's being made right now. Just from the add-ons that are on each of these... structures. I mean, at this stage of the game, what else do you reactor out of a starport? Pretty much just Vikings. So all said and done, GuMiho, well, now he's going to start pushing forwards, but I'm not sure if it's really... I don't know. I've been trying to, go along with this and see what he was going to do and talk about it, but I feel like right now is a very late time to push, and so I'm not really sure or convinced he's going to push forward super aggressively. I mean, he is still making a bunch of units. He didn't start up stim pack at all, so it looks like he is going to kind of go for this at the moment. 2 tanks to the front, so remember the Raven will be able to interference matrix those potentially. And that could be very big for GuMiho if he can take those down quickly. The tank's going to unsiege, and are they going to pull back? No, he resieges here. You have the Reaper and the Hellion from Dream trying to spot this army coming forwards, give them some info as to when they might strike. Viking count is better for Dream just because he's been making those Vikings while the Banshee was being made, and yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. GuMiho's actually okay. GuMiho's just going to completely go for this. Oh my god, Dream's coming down the ramp. GuMiho's completely ready to just move in and fight. The Vikings are landed as well. The Raven needs to drop some missile turrets. Okay, he's going to drop the auto turrets down. Vikings are now going to land on the other side of this. They pick off the auto turrets pretty well. The Vikings on the left are doing well as well, though. GuMiho keeps his tanks alive. And GuMiho just has the better numbers here. The Vikings go in the sky. They'll fight the Banshee. Another tank on this high ground, and that's going to defend, I think. GuMiho has to pull away. Crazy fight, though, and he will get a siege up on the low ground here. Oh, man, that was kind of a crazy fight. What GuMiho did is he landed the Vikings on the left, so he was absolutely ready for a fight. And Dream kind of walked down into him. Biggest problem for GuMiho was his Raven didn't do much. He dropped auto turrets that felt like they got picked off pretty quick. I feel like I actually would have preferred to see just Interference Matrixes thrown down on this tanks because that worked so much better for Deer there, it felt like. GuMiho still has Vikings landed over here right now. As Dream is looking around, he will see these units. GuMiho sent his tanks quite far back. Obviously, the Vikings will be pretty careful because they are outnumbered and outdamaged in the skies. GuMiho taking a third CC in location. Now, the third is already done from Dream in the main base. And this game, he's not going to be blocked away from taking a base out from his natural. Obviously, in Thunderbird, you get the third base, but it's kind of in your natural still, so you couldn't get a fourth. This time, he is going to be able to get this because he's pushed GuMiho far enough back, I think. GuMiho going to continue into mech, by the way. 2 more factories. That explains why he wasn't building stim, etc. So, GuMiho looking to play mech here for game number 2. Those Vikings still up in the skies. Units from Dream hanging out as well. This orbital command pressing forward is going to be landing in a moment on the third base. So about to set that up here as we are going to be seeing the few tanks around the left-hand side. Vikings in the center. There you go. Dream is looking to set up a sensor tower and really defend this position. A Marine on the left side sees these tanks still trying to get it aggressive from GuMiho. If you look at the units right now, you can see that the Viking count is taking a lead for GuMiho, so you might be able to push forwards and maybe get rid of those libs and those Vikings. The Raven is maybe going to have something to say about that. Obviously, GuMiho soon will start getting some further tank count up, etc. as well. He's actually going around this top side. This feels kind of risky. 8 Vikings, well, they're going to find this Liberator, which is off to try and harass somewhere. Is he going to really... So he's going to fly the Vikings in, land them to kill SCVs. That's actually his plan. He wants to land these Vikings to fight SCVs. Well, he's going to land them, but that's for sure. That's definitely happening. We're going to see the interference makers from one of the Vikings. It's Viking on Viking in the main. Meanwhile, GuMiho's setting up forwards aggressively. His tanks are going to do okay there. Well, I mean, the Viking fight in the main base. Oh, an auto turret actually will maybe get another kill. Now, that's unfortunate because actually, GuMiho kind of won this fight in the main with those Vikings. GuMiho goes up 20 supply from this, by the way. A few workers, a few army. His tanks still just sat over. He isn't really reinforcing at all, though. Not pushing anything forwards at the moment. Spreads a couple tanks out a little bit. He's going to eke forwards as well. Oh, scan at a good time, though. He is still going to get a tank for a tank, though, so tank for a tank isn't bad. I mean, considering GuMiho has 2 Vikings and 3 tanks here, I'm kind of amazed he's getting anything done. He is, in the end, going to be able to pull back. Armory starts up from both players, so actually Dream really late on the 2-2 upgrades because of the lack of the armory. So that really hurts quite a bit as these Vikings from GuMiho moving around in the center. Hellions, tanks into the middle as well. On the far right hand side, another command center dropping down 2. Oh, sorry, I'm terrible with names today. Such skill, much impressed in the chat says, what? Dream still plays? Haven't seen him in forever. He just returned from military service earlier this year and is really starting to have a bit of an impact, especially in these online events. So, yeah, he's back. He's looking pretty good. I mean, he's made it to the semi-finals of this tournament, so take that for what you will. As these Marines from Dream pressing down, takes a Marine off on the watchtower. Hellions and Cyclones still pressing forwards. Vikings in pretty good numbers here as well. Cyclones are an interesting choice now, of course. I mean, Hellion Cyclones kind of like a Zerg comp, but using it against Terran, I'm intrigued to see how it plays out for GuMiho, because it's a bit different. He might go darting across the map with those units, look for picking off reinforcements while his tank count will hope to hold here. I mean, Dream's going to put himself right in the middle of this. Oh my god, that Raven so nearly going down. These units coming in from the top side, but GuMiho's just getting those Cyclones blown up. Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by the lack of tank production. I'm not quite sure if this works in I'm still not quite sure if it works in TvT. I'm waiting for GuMiho to prove it to me. Like, as much as we've seen Hellbat Cyclone be a kind of a style in other mech matchups, TvT has always still been just Hellbat tank. Tanks are just so good. especially against Bio, you kind of need the tanks, right? A couple Hellbats dropping in on tanks there. These tanks are kind of a little bit alone. Cyclones will pick off a medevac that was leading the charge into the center. Turn the fight there, a few lock-ons. The problem is that, again, Cyclones just don't trade well against Marines. Just have the tanks here to help him cover. Dream still a little bit behind on the supplies. Vikings going to come across and will just take the damage from the one Marine to chase for the Raven. We'll drop the auto turrets. Auto turrets will be able, with that Marine especially, oh my god, so many Vikings. I think that was a bit more expensive than GuMiho was really expecting. That was really expensive. Damn. 2T upgrades coming up from Dream in the main base. Medevac's loading up once again. A few of these Hellbats joining together. Forwards drop down. Going to be able to start picking up these siege tanks. The tanks will take quite a bit of damage. Cyclones locking on. Another tank going down. So in the end, GuMiho is breaking out of this. Now he's pressing forwards in towards Marines and siege up tanks. And Marine support, I'm not sure if you can continue to take those fights. It worked over here because those tanks were abandoned and on their own. But when those tanks have support, again, the Cyclones just kind of get picked apart. They don't really lock onto anything too useful. Doesn't turn out too well. Dream around the top side, we do see the Cyclones, and a lot of these Hellbats and Medevacs, if they can drop on top of the Marines, then sure, it'll deal some pretty serious damage, but you've got to get them on top of their alive first. Has a plan to focus down here at least. He's getting tanks to start to reposition. Over on this side, scans from both players, so he sees what's up. These tanks will siege and will be able to outnumber the tank in range. There's fourth base. In some trouble there. Cyclones, though, show up on this other side. SCV's spawn to repair, but the Cyclones do, oh my god, so much damage. Well, the Cyclones kind of just got up there out of nowhere. Now they're going to be in some trouble, though. Marines stimming up to pick them off. So the fourth base of Dream goes down, but he does kill off a bunch of these Cyclones. SCV's even coming in for some revenge. You took our homes! We'll take you down. Hellbat's dropping on top of this army. Cleaning up pretty well when it comes to fighting the Marines, but then as they jump back up into Medevac, Hellbats left in, goes down, and I'm just not convinced this style is working out for GuMiho at all. You know, it is not looking pretty. It's not looking pretty. Tanks firing, planning forward, taking some damage in the middle of the map. We will see Hellbats and Cyclones fighting again. This time there's not really much tank support, so perhaps there's more of an opportunity. No. I don't know what GuMiho was aiming for this game. Whatever it was, it hasn't worked out at all, and it looks as though GuMiho is absolutely GuMiho's just absolutely not found a way to make this work. So Dream looking good in game 2 to tie this up 1-1 in the best of 5. And we're having some long best of 5s today, aren't we? It's getting some real juicy action out. Pretty crazy so far, as tanks will knock down the rocks on the right side. Couple of Hellbats loading up into those Medevacs. Going to come back down the bottom again. Tanks setting up to siege. Here you go, Dream pressing forwards. Few tanks sieging up. Well, again, when it's the tanks on their own, they're going to go down pretty quickly, but the target fire was good to at least pick off the backline units, the gas-based units. Nice little micro on the Cyclones to keep them alive. Just doesn't feel like GuMiho's making any progress, right? And he's down, 3 bases against 5. That is kind of the problem. Yeah, this base had to be rebuilt, sure, but, it is now up and running. It's Medevac's taking, what, Hellbats to the top? Yeah. He's still building Cyclones, so GuMiho apparently still feels like this is the way he wants to play this. That's going to drop down. GuMiho's just going to lose out. He's got units pushing up his natural. GG. Really fatty professionalism over here. So I guess I had to run and get, a slice of pizza because I was, starving. But we're good. Now we've had a slice of pizza. Let's see what's going to happen here in game number 3. To the bottom right, our Red Terran Dream. I wouldn't say he did anything spectacular in that last game. He just kind of played a composition that works. It's kind of my I don't know what GuMiho was aiming for. I just don't see in what way he ever cleans up the Marines well enough for the Cyclones. In what way are the Cyclones ever as good a support unit as the tanks? I just don't believe there's ever a world where the Cyclones there are going to work better than tanks are. Yeah, maybe a few to go snipe down a base was pretty cool, but as the main chunk of your support, I don't know, man. I wasn't convinced. Really wasn't convinced. A couple of subs dropping in. Thank you so much, first of all, well, actually, only the one. Moratut. I can't see your name. Moraturiate Salutant. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub for 3 months. Much appreciated. Thank you very much indeed. Factory dropping down in the main base. We're going to see the barracks starting up a reactor. Just going to be seeing the command centers coming in. We do see a little bit of Reaper action over here. GuMiho is going to be able to pick up an SCV early. He got the early Reaper hit, and oh my god, if he gets that Reaper, that'd be huge because he does have a second Reaper against Marine production. Oh my god, one Reaper reactor is so deadly. If you lose your Reaper, you're going to lose a lot of SCVs here, and GuMiho's already going to be in a good spot. Oh my god. Hellion pops out, but there's going to be another SCV kill if the target fire is right. It's going to go down. There's 4 SCVs. Yeah, it cost the 2 Reapers, but again, work a lead this early in the game. It's huge for GuMiho, so he's already put himself in a good start this time around for Game 3 of this series. Job well done there. Bunker from GuMiho, he did lose his Reapers, just making sure his Marines have somewhere safe to sit. And the starport on the way up, and then 2 more barracks pretty quickly, so GuMiho straight to bio here. Really not messing around at all, is he? And racks are really fast. Maybe messed up his macro a little bit, and so he has some floating minerals. And he skipped the Hellion as well, right? So he skipped a Hellion or any sort of factory unit you would usually build, instead of investing into the bunker. So yeah, just super fast extra barracks here. Raven on the way up on each side of the map. The factory going to start a reactor. And it's going to be the Raven, so GuMiho will still get the Raven up. But yeah, the stim pack potential for GuMiho is super quick. And obviously if you start getting stim pack up that quickly, this can go pretty crazy pretty soon. So, Tech Lab and Reactor building on those racks. We do see a bit of a drop from Dream into the main. Going to bypass that low ground bunker, which we're talking about as a pretty good defensive position. He's doing a decent job pulling back. SCVs are going to pull in too, so GuMiho might take some damage here. 2 more Marines just finished up, and that's a cleanup from GuMiho. 3 SCVs lost. He still leads by 6 workers, so yeah, good defense by GuMiho. Right, he pulled a few SCVs just to make sure he didn't get completely overrun and he got worse than he needed to be. And he lost a couple, but he still leads, and I mean, you just look at it again. The fact that the second and third racks are up, the stim pack has started. I mean, Dream is going to have so many less Marines, etc. He's going to have to be very reliant, Dream, on tech-based units, you know, Vikings and tanks, to keep him safe in this scenario. Sorry guys, I really got a bit of a cough today. 2 more Vikings on the way up from Dream, going to be finishing in a few moments' time. Siege tank setup on the natural. I mean, Dream just has no sign of a 3rd CC. And he's gone into the 3rd and 4th gas, which is just a way of supporting tank Viking production. GuMiho loads up 2 medevacs already going across here now. If GuMiho can get unloaded, there is a lot of potential for damage. Even if he unloads on top of this tank and kills this tank, the problem is for Dream, he can't really be everywhere at the same time with his defense, right? So he's got a few units in the main. Honestly, again, if GuMiho just goes, drops the natural, obviously it's a bit 50-50 where you pick to go. But if you just drop the natural, you could maybe win. I mean, stim pack's about to be finished, right? So you'll have stim for this drop, you'll scan the main. So there's a couple of Vikings heading out north. You just saw the Raven, well, he has his own Raven going into the main base. His medevac's push forwards, man. If he'd gone in a bit sooner, those Vikings wouldn't have been there because they've only just spawned. Maybe he could have got that tank, but at the end of the day, Dream is able to defend. As the units come out just about in time. Thank you to an anonymous cheerer cheering 21. Appreciate it. Plus 1 attack on the engineering bay on the way up. Again, those couple medevacs of GuMiho coming out to the left. Just going to be seeing the Vikings, the Raven, gather together. This one going to be finishing up soon, and yeah, this army of Dream. It's kind of a similar scenario to kind of what we saw in the first game, right? GuMiho is taking a good lead. He's going to be on the map, and he's going to be kind of up a base. It's a bit more extreme here because GuMiho is going to be up a 3rd over a natural. But the idea is still there. A lot of medevacs down the south side. I mean, this is where the Vikings are patrolling, though, so you need to be somewhat cautious. Last thing you want to do is run into this, especially because the Raven can interfere with Matrix the medevacs, and then you can't unload, and you can't boost away, so the Vikings are pretty much guaranteed kills, and a lot of kills at that. Four medevacs down the bottom, then again, a little bit of watchtower holding here from GuMiho over on the right. Stim in, just pick up that Marine in the end. Again, those medevacs. Trying to think about what they want to do. This Marine is actually going to see this, so the Vikings and the Raven could potentially respond, but they're not going to. Excuse me again, guys, sorry. I would have actually kind of liked to see the Vikings commit to that, right? Because, again, with the Raven, you can stop the boost, you can stop the drops. You get so many kills. +1/+1 on the way here from Dream. GuMiho with the +1 armor on the way out as well. Armory and second engineering base starting up. Units moving around in the center of the map. Those 4 medevacs just peeling away to the side. Again, another few Marines chilling out beneath the Vikings. And here we go, GuMiho. Pressing forwards. Units will be able to pick off a Marine. There's 2 tanks sieging up. Army of Dream moving around as well. Again, the problem is it's not super easy just pushing to a base just like out of nowhere. Salin wasn't on the watchtower, but will be there for a moment to see this army looping around. Obviously, Dream is spread out in terms of his defense. Again, Dream has that air control, and GuMiho is just trying to play without the air control here. See if he can make that work. 2 upgrades on the way. It's a big upgrade here for GuMiho. Finally, he commits in with this drop, by the way. It took him a long time to decide to go for it, but here he is now and dropping down. He has 1-1 against the Marines of 0-0 for Dream. It's a big deal, actually, because it really makes this fight a lot better for him. He has a tank to help support this a little bit. All the turrets are going to drop down to help fight this too. At the same time, GuMiho loads up, and he's going to go boosting in towards the third base. No defense there. Sieged up tanks, which he can drop on top of. Oh my god. GuMiho is going to massacre this. SCVs are going to pull in and try and defend. These tanks should just siege up in an instant, and, I mean, Dream unsieged his tanks to try and fight back. GuMiho is actually just going to press forwards, and, well, if the tanks go down, the Vikings don't exactly put up much of a fight on their own. Kind of surprised GuMiho didn't siege up his own tanks over here. Feels like there was a potential for a lot more damage. Either way, it doesn't really matter. GuMiho has done the damage to put himself in the lead. 145 to 89 supply. These 2 medevacs from Dream lift up. A couple of Vikings fire away. Medevac taking some shots, and there you go. Tanks and Marines pressing forwards. That 1 tank in the front will not hold this off, and GuMiho is going to go to match point here because he takes the 3rd CC down. Dream is going to get a few kills because this 3rd CC was targeted. The SCVs will commit in, though. That's the problem now. The SCVs go down, and the 3rd will probably still die. I think there's no good solution for Dream, right? He is just in trouble. And GuMiho is very far ahead. Dream very much so knows it. He types out GG to give GuMiho. So, on the bottom right-hand side of Disco Bloodbath, down a game. Needs to win this to stay in the tournament. This is Dream. Up against the Red Terran in the bottom left-hand side. Top left-hand side. I'm terrible. These minerals fool me every time. This is GuMiho from Cyclone Gaming. So, game 4. GuMiho really feels like he's been the better player throughout the entire series. I'd say even the game he lost. I feel like he put himself in a much better position. It was the later choices that were a lot more questionable, so I really like how GuMiho is doing it, and I love the style as well. Aggressive, all over the place a little bit. Stuff like that, so, yeah. Very exciting as we do see Dream. Starting up into this game number 4 of this best of 5. GuMiho is going to opt to put his barracks over here to block this Reaper jumper path. This is a bit risky because obviously it's very exposed against certain pushes later in the game. Although if he wants to make an add-on, I guess the barracks would relocate, but that's also something to keep in mind. You can't make an add-on here early. So what GuMiho is likely to do, he doesn't have a second gas, so it is going to be an expansion. He's probably going to make a couple of Reapers at least, right? Alright, well, command center coming up on each side of the map. Player's going to be playing a mirror build order here this time around, so it's the first time we've seen GuMiho expand quickly, rather than going for like a double gas-based opening. So GuMiho really making a bit of a change-up happen here this time around, as we continue to get set up for this Reaper. Not going to go anywhere actually. GuMiho's Reaper will go on a little adventure. GuMiho going into a marine afterwards, now the factory starting. It's just the reactor straight away, a little bit greedy from Dream, but could pay off for him. So Reaper, Marine hanging out on this ramp for the moment. We do see the other Reaper on the bottom right-hand side. Factory's going to finish in a moment or two, and yeah, we've got a little bit of a difference here because GuMiho has a bit less gas right away. Actually, we'll start the starport already. Yeah, they're just like a little bit out of sync when it comes to the gas cans because of the different things that they've built. Dream's going to react to Hellions. GuMiho just built that tech lab very early on here. I imagine the factory's just going to build a tech lab of its own pretty quickly. One Reaper, one Hellion, one Marine. Okay, he's going to make another Hellion already here, so it's going to be a second Hellion on the way out. So units just gathering up on that high ground. Again, a couple more units hanging out in the natural. CV coming over the side is going to eventually block this area off as well, I guess. Wall this little area. Excuse me, sorry guys. Don't know what's going on with my throat today, it's bad. So, yeah, there's going to be seeing the starport coming up. Sorry, I'm going to mute myself for like 1 second. Alright, all coughed out. So, has got the tech lab up in the corner here. Again, this is very exposed. But it's going to work out as we're going to be seeing the Banshee heading down the left-hand side. What's up, Luke Dickham streaming? Coming in for the 5 gifted subs, by the way. Hell yeah, thank you so much for the gifted subs. Going to push us over 1,250 subscribers. I think he's going to start unloading here from Dream in the main, but very quick response from GuMiho will defend. Dream pushed back there right away. Welcome, Jumpin' Jackson. Howsy. Let me just get my Streamlabs open, see if any of these are for multiple months. Yeah, Howsy for 2 months. Also, Lolicon936 coming in for 2 months as well. We also have Netku and Trap Lord Bando. Thank you for joining the Wardy family via Luke Nukem streaming gifted sub bomb. Get some love in the chat for Luke Nukem. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it. Alright, 2 more barracks on the way up. Gonna see the Cyclone. Gonna push the medevac away down the left-hand side. So this attack from Dream has not really done anything at all here. Two Banshees down the right. Gonna be heading in towards the main base. Cloaking up. Flying in already. Gonna start picking away some of these workers. There is scan available, but not enough Marines to really justify it just yet. The Cyclone coming over. There's also the Raven, but that's 8 workers. GuMiho is once again the player who's finding himself able to get a lot of damage done. While Dream does absolutely nothing across the map, GuMiho gets has a really good time here. Stim pack, +1 attack on the way from GuMiho, so I'm really building into that bio style already, and I mean, Dream is only just now set up into the stim, and it's just, again, a repeat of what we've seen earlier. GuMiho just finds slight advantages, he gets earlier racks, and yeah, there's things that he doesn't have, like air control, etc., but he seems to get so much out of this for the most part. Hellion chilling out over to the side. Banshee's hanging out over to the right. Third CC is on the way up on the top here. So getting out ready to roll. A couple of backs coming down on each side. Fourth and fifth racks from Dream dropping down too. Here can interference matrix the Cyclone, which means they can just get home safely, no lock on. We'll try and lock onto one of these Vikings, but unlikely to get a kill. Didn't even lock on. Oh, lock on was on cooldown. Alright, well, Dream's just moving out a little bit here. Up through the center of the map, actually, and just from GuMiho that I'm taking the map control, going to back away to the right. Marines, tanks, Raven, and Medivacs into the center again. GuMiho has the army that should be able to fight in the middle of the map. I mean, he already has stim. Oh my god, he's going to take a fight with stim against no stim. He is going to fight into tanks, though. Interference matrices go down. One tank in the back, but it's already too late, I think, for Dream. Maybe? The one tank in the back is doing quite a lot in the end, actually. He's got a few units GuMiho here as well. A couple of Hellions from the side. It's still a one fight from GuMiho, right? The upgrades there on the bio was a big helping hand. Not sure why GuMiho wanted to scan right there. Had a bit of trouble targeting down that tank. Seeing these rocks getting knocked away at the moment. And knock those down, open up the pathways a little bit, and well, Dream is rebuilding, but it was definitely a good couple of fights with GuMiho. Resources lost actually pretty even, so yeah, maybe GuMiho lost a bit. Man, he didn't lose a lot of the Marines, those siege tanks. I don't know, I really felt like, I guess GuMiho lost a lot in the skies with the Vikings fighting for a while. GuMiho going down to the bottom side. Meanwhile, Dream is, well, he's still got numbers. Now actually Dream has 1-1 upgrades to work with as well here, so if the 1-1 upgrade's in play, there's a bit more that can be done. A couple of Hellions coming to the bottom. We need some tanks pressing down as well. He's going to load up, boosting across to the left. We're trying to find a position here that he can make work. He is going to be seen trying to reposition though. The Ravens here obviously going to be pretty deadly out of Dream. Interference Matrix is dropping down. See, that means he's going to be tanks against no tanks, and Dream's going to hold this off. GuMiho is overcommitted. He's just gone a bit too far, and again, especially because Dream had the double upgrades rather than the single upgrades. While he is going to be behind on +2 attack, he was ahead on the armor upgrade for that fight. So it just tilts the balance even further. Yeah, without the Ravens, actually, GuMiho really couldn't trade well at all there. The Ravens did a lot. They interference matrix all three of the tanks that were sieged, and it just takes so much damage away. It means that Dream's basically just fighting with, you know, Marines versus Marines. Only he has tank support. And now Dream's army supply is rocking up, 92 versus 75. 2 more Marines down through the center, and Dream pushing the top. Are we going to see a game 5 for the 3rd time today? That would be crazy, man. We've seen so many games today just go the distance. Yeah, this is bad for GuMiho. He has got a big drop across the map, so he is going to engage in a bit of a base trade scenario here. 3rd CC is already lifting up and backing away. So obviously the 3rd base of both players are going to go down. Oh no, GuMiho, why is your engineering bay on the 3rd base building plus? Why? Well, that's not good. Loses the +2 attack, so he's actually losing upgrades where... Oh, well, he's actually going to be able to stim up here. This is a mistake from Dream for that tank not to be already sieged. Let's get a shot off, though. GuMiho allowing that to deal damage now across the map. Dream's army is pushing up and pushing up successfully as well. GuMiho's not holding this off. Dream turns us around and takes us to a game. Where's the game sounds? There they are. Top left-hand side. Red Terran tying us up, taking us to game 5 yet again. It's Dream. Up against the blue Terran in the bottom right is GuMiho. Game 5 of this series. I'm just coughing away, don't mind me. Again, guys, do check out the Match Arena page. Lots of free clickable links. A lot of people have been clicking those today. Thank you for adding a few dollars to the prize pool. Much appreciated. Factory drops in on the main, going to be coming up in a few moments. SCV is going to be throwing down a depot over on this corner. Already setting up something of a Reaper block potentially. Factory on both sides. I'm still coughing, guys. I'm so sorry. Don't know what's going on. Alright, factory coming up in the main. The reactor building on the barracks. And this Reaper from Dream is going to be moving around. So it's going to be sitting at the front. The Reaper of GuMiho heading up to the top left-hand side. Natural command center coming along there. There's the CC of GuMiho as well. Reaper going to be popping out and starting to head out toward the top left-hand side. GuMiho is on the later CC again, but gets the delay, so it's always nice. Picks off an SCV. 2 Reapers and a Hellion against just a Reaper. I swear, maybe, Dream gets punished a little bit for having been pretty greedy throughout so far, just again building the reactor so quick every single time. Ransom delayed yet again. 2 Reapers and a Hellion versus Hellion, Reaper, 2 Marines. Back and forth fight, good control on both sides so far. The grenades from GuMiho, definitely one of the advantages he has in this. The SCV pulls to repair the Hellion up. Here we go again. Reapers and Hellion pressing forwards. Third Reaper showing up, and he loses the Hellion pretty much instantly here. So GuMiho, I don't think can stick around too much longer here. Does get a unit in return. Another Hellion shows up for him, though. If he could line up the Marines, then maybe, but just a few too many Marines is the big problem. And GuMiho continues to lose units as he comes back in. Another Hellion going down. Now his Reaper will fall as well. So GuMiho loses everything, and Dream kind of has the numbers to maybe go counterattack even. We're even about halfway done at the moment from Dream. Couple SCVs repairing the Hellion, and just going to be seeing the Reaper running down the bottom left. Looking to see what's going to be going on. Banshee is just over halfway done. GuMiho is going to be finishing that up in a second or two. Again, third CC starting up from GuMiho here. In the main base. Cyclone locks onto the Reaper, takes it down. Reaper gets the grenade off on the Cyclone. Rax lifts up, goes up to the tech lab, going to drop that down as well. Going to be able to start up the stim pack here right away. Siege tank finishes. 2 more Vikings continuing up in the production tab. And stim, siege tank, all of this getting ready to roll. The 2 Cyclones of GuMiho coming out the front, and GuMiho with the Banshee coming around the top right, through the top. Just looking to try and deal some damage. It's a cloakless Banshee, so hasn't committed a lot to it. But if we could get a few SCVs, that would be amazing. But there are Marines patrolling the borders here now. This does not mean you can't do damage. You can still pick away at those Marines, which is quite a nice little something, right? Takes some Marines out of the fight for the future. Little bits and pieces, right? But obviously, then the problem is maybe those Vikings come and kill your Banshee, and then it's not so great. But the Marines have just moved away. What a time for GuMiho to fly in here and to pick up some of these SCVs. So 2 SCVs going down pretty much right away. Third one goes down now too. Very good damage so far. SCVs down, man. This pulled Dream back. Dream was looking to push across the map, but it pulled him back absolutely. And the Cyclones of GuMiho are looking to see if they can get an advantageous lock-on. 2 lock-ons onto 1 lock-on obviously wins out. Simple math applied here in the TvT. GuMiho, a few workers up, third CC ready to go. No third CC or anything from Dream, so he's actually really committing to this attack, really hoping he can get some damage in with it. That's a dead Cyclone running into siege tank range to get that Hellion kill. That wasn't worthwhile. He's pushing down, tank bunker. GuMiho's realizing the importance of a defense here, obviously. Third CC will build up from Dream in location, so obviously he has a follow-up going down, but I mean, it's the other bits and pieces too, right? I mean, he has got stim. Second and third racks just now starting to see he's behind. Kind of needs to do something, Dream, it feels like, right? Otherwise, GuMiho's production, third base, is just so much faster. It's a good start. Raven is going to drop the order turret here from GuMiho, interestingly, rather than a Matrix. High ground tank is able to get the kill anyways. Just one Matrix came off on his tank here. Across the map, a Cyclone actually going to just be able to pick off this SCV, and walking onto this base could be able to pick that off too. But CC lifts up and GuMiho relocates back further into the main. GuMiho will soon have stim pack, and again, that third CC not currently building is a big problem. 2 SCVs pulled over. Marine's going to go respond as well. Not sure how much that's actually going to do. Now locks onto a medevac. I mean, still on the medevac's not exactly a bad deal either for GuMiho. Vikings are absolutely a problem for GuMiho as well, but he's got his own Vikings up and seemingly enough numbers, so he's going to be able to force stream back, and well, he is. GuMiho looking good. He's got one more upgrade started too. If he holds off this attack, he hasn't won the game, but he is definitely in the stronger position between the two of them, and now air control goes the way of GuMiho. He wins out that fight, loses his Raven, but again, 5 Vikings against 3. 6 if you actually count the Vikings up properly. It's a good little number for GuMiho, and a little Marine drop into the main. That is the one thing that Dream can look to. Maybe get a few SCV kills. GuMiho has some Marines nearby, will stim instantly, and the biggest problem for Dream there is just his Marines are dropping out one at a time. And now the medevac is found. Medevac dies. GuMiho, really solid play here. Really making this work as he's looking like he's just going to move forwards a little bit. Scan was at a good time there, though, from Dream. Is able to make a good fight out of this. Get a couple of tanks, at least, that he maybe shouldn't have initially got. But he gets cleaned up. And again, that third CC is slow. It's only just now coming online. Then, that said, I mean, GuMiho has not mined from his own third base, right? But down half the army supply. That's the difference in the timing on those barracks. And GuMiho might not quite realize it, but is in an amazing spot when it comes to the numbers right now. But he might be a bit afraid because GuMiho has definitely given up a couple of engagements, has definitely given up a couple of opportunities in previous matches because of the yeah, because he obviously has been a little bit over-aggressive at times and it's actually been punished by Dream, so GuMiho may be a bit cautious about that, but right now he's rocking 1-1 against 0-0, he's rocking double the supply, he's got air control. It's just those siege tanks, and right now he's going to get rid of the sensor tower to begin with. GuMiho, with a scan, just going to get full information as to what he's about to push into. I love this Viking player. Being very careful, but they do come in. Sniper Viking get out, taking no damage. Tank war goes the way of GuMiho as well. And Dream is down one more tank, only 2 tanks left here at the front. That push back a little bit as well. Marines will stim. Vikings taking a little bit of damage. Tanks still pressing forwards. The problem is Dream can't just possibly scan continuously, right? GuMiho is the one with the air control, so he does get to see things a little bit more easily as still pressing tanks forwards. A Liberator now showing up as well. The tanks will have to unsiege, and there's the stim in from GuMiho. This is where his numbers are going to really be shown. Tanks go down. I mean, the Liberator is just the catalyst to this engagement, and it's the catalyst to the end of this game, and GuMiho go into the grand finals against Rogue.